Hey everybody, back at it again. I've got some hogs on in the background, chilling out, talking about a few things. I guess I should start by asking, what is worrying you the most right now in life? Have you got maybe like a family member that's ill? Is your job gonna let you go? Is your boss an absolute asshole? Did your car get damaged the other day and it freaking sucks? It's gonna cost a fortune. I'm curious to know. Let me know in the comments what right now is your biggest ego worry. What is the thing that is bothering you in the game of life right now? Because I would very much like to know. And then the next thing I want to ask you is, how would you like to be dead? And as dramatic and grisly as that sounds, seriously, how would you like to be dead right now? Imagine what it would be like right now to be dead. Now, the default that we all have in our mind is that everything goes black, there is nothingness, and it's the thing that you see when you close your eyes and you're just trying to get to sleep, you just shut your brain off, and you're kind of in that in-between. You're not at REM sleep quite yet, but you're just drifting in between worlds, and all you see is just the infinite void of nothingness. But what actually is nothing? Have you ever asked yourself what actually is nothing? Because you can't have nothing without something. When we think of nothing, we think of space, but within space there is stuff, whether it be on the atomic level or space to fit a wardrobe into your bedroom. It's looking very nice. You should head to IKEA more often. The meatballs there are lovely, by the way. But ego comments aside, it's all a matter of definition on how we define life and how, I guess, our brains can perceive emptiness, nothingness, kind of your life being cut completely, and then what? We talked about the idea of drives in a previous video, but the one thing that I missed out in said video was that ego's drive to survive. And within our egotistical culture of that will to survive, that needing to survive, I feel that the world today is so full of suffering and pain and worry and anxiety because everyone is just so deeply engrossed within their ego that they know nothing else. And no matter how you spin that sentence that I just said, it will always come off as high and mighty, as get off your high horse, man. Like, you're looking down on me and my day-to-day troubles, and for you to sit up there and say, well, it's easy to just ignore it because life just is a game and doesn't exist. Well, it's not a game to me, and I completely understand that, that there is the idea that I've talked about before of how there are so many people in the world today that can't take that time to look within themselves or to go deeper spiritually because they are unable to get through the organic stage, I guess, of being, of trying to survive, trying to get food, trying to get water, trying to get shelter because of the egotistical conflicts that we have in war, of famine, of poverty, and all these sorts of things that are just so ingrained within their being that is all they know. What's interesting too is when you draw parallels to that exact idea to the likes of other things within society, whether it be sports, whether it be religion, and just that sort of cult following almost of people not knowing anything other than the thing that they follow. It's quite a sentence, but speaking as a football fan, speaking as somebody that follows a football team, a local one that I have followed since I was a kid, that is all I know in the world of football because that is the team that I support. And it's the same when you look at religion. When you grow up as a religious person, those practices and that idea and that belief system is all you know. It is ingrained within you. It is a part of your ego. And the crazy thing is, to me, is that all of these issues are purely of the ego. All of your worries in life come out of this game of life, come out of the job and the role that you play, coming out of the people that you interact with, coming out of the way that we treat the world and the way that we treat other people, and the fact that we are all one super organism, but we don't look at that. We look at the individual, we look at the I. It's so bonkers when you've got your head above the parapet. And again, I can't help but feel like such a like my ego feels like such a snob because I'm just like, oh yes, I have this higher view of self, I have this higher view of life, and look at all these other people that still have their head buried in the sand that cannot see what I see. But really, as with everything in life, it is all still a learning process and still a process to understand just how much of life is not real. Think of everything that you do day to day. The job that you go to, the building that you go into, everything that we have named, everything that we have labeled, everything that has been defined in our language and our understanding of the world. So I'm just thinking, my brain, I don't know why, always goes to the idea of a bank or a shop, where it is just a building with walls, with stuff in that you buy, and it's called that. They might give it a fancy name on the front or something, and you'll see it and you'll be like, oh, that's a library or that's a bookshop. And you go in and you give somebody some metal coins, or you use a piece of plastic and you beep it on an electronic device and that sends off data somewhere. You think of all these transactions that are occurring, whether it be conversations you're having with someone, being inside this bookshop, selecting something like this product that has been made. You think of all of the mechanics of society and this game and how deep it goes. It is crazy. Like, honestly, it's crazy. And then it goes deeper in that if you were to have walked into that bookshop, taken a book and walked out, then everybody in society will say that that's the wrong thing to do, that's the bad thing, you have to be punished now. And so you either get arrested or a police officer comes along and you get fined. And of course you don't get the physical object that you took from that bookshop, that's then given back again. So you have, again, just look at life as a whole and look at all of the layers that are woven into this fabric of being that we call society or culture or life or a country or a state or just wherever or whatever it is that you live within. It's this weaving principle constantly of over, under, over, just all of these things, whether it be energy, whether it be buildings, whether it be an area, whether it be an environment, whether it be trees, whether it be cars, whether it be roads, whether it be aeroplanes, whether it be the sky, whether it be space, whether it be galaxies. Oh dear. Now, do you see how taking a moment to just observe and absorb all of that and understand the insanity almost that is within just all of these processes that we go through on a day-to-day basis, and taking a step back from being in that game, like you've hit the pause button, you put the controller down, and you're just observing the corners of the screen that you wouldn't normally look at, and you realize that there are details there that you wouldn't normally see, and you're like, okay, that is quite interesting. And my philosophy, I suppose, is doing that on a daily basis, where for the periods of time that the ego is not in control, so where you aren't focused on your job, or you just have time to yourself, you have time to say go for a walk, or just to sit quietly and think, just switch places, change places with your ego, and observe the world and your surroundings from the perspective of your inner self, where you can acknowledge and observe your own ego and just look at the happenings of the world. And so soon you'll have this realization that yes, the worries within your ego are valid, but when you realize how we're all heading for the same exit door in the end, those worries are purely manifested within your own ego. It's very taboo in the Western world to not want to survive, to not have the same drive of the entire species, it seems, and saying that it's okay to die. Like, that sentence is just a huge no-no for so many people. And again, it's been ingrained within them in so many ways, relating back to that idea of ego and personality and the drive to survive. War, of course, is a big example, and it's quite ironic too when you look at my channel and see how that is centered around that entire idea of military and conflict and the entertainment value that comes with anthropomorphic pigs and dudes in planes shooting each other. But we have once again this additional weaving of intricate layers of social normities and social expectations of respect that is shown to soldiers in the sacrifices that they gave to their own lives, either to their limbs or to their mental states of being too. That is ingrained within that taboo of saying that no, like, how dare you give up on life so easily? How dare you throw away life that easily and not appreciate people that have tried to sustain life and keep life going? And I just think that that is a really interesting topic. It's a really interesting viewpoint too, because it is completely juxtaposing to this idea of how we view death, how we can embrace death, as we have talked about in the past. And I don't mean that in the sense of, okay, let's all, like, go now. No. I mean it in the sense of when that time comes, to not be scared of it, you know, to embrace it as what happens next, and to not get fixated on the ego's idea of nothingness and the ego's fear of letting go. Because ultimately that's what it boils down to. For everybody in life, letting go of your ego is one of the, if not the toughest things to do in life. And it's something that cannot be done. That's the other realization. I've said it many times before, but you cannot get rid of the ego with the ego. It is not possible. Because ultimately, once you are able to let go of that ego, you let go of all that worry, responsibility, anxiety, all those emotions, those negative emotions, I should say, that you have connected to the ego and the game of life that you are currently playing within the role of whatever your name may be. Wherever you may be in the world right now, I hope that you have the time in future to separate yourself from your own worries and view the world from a slightly different perspective, because it really does help open things up a bit more and get you connected back with just life, man. Just living for the sake of living, viewing the world for its beauty and enjoying it as much as you can, because we get to go around once and, well, hopefully many more times. But let me know your thoughts on everything in the comments below. I'd love to know what you all have to say, and I'll catch you later in the graveyard. Peace out, everybody.
Destination going.